Let us discuss 02nd September 2015 newspaper. While discussing this, the first topic is related to reservations. Reservations. So in this, the for and against the reservations, we are going to argue. And then what is the way out? How can we come out of this particular tangle? That's what we are going to look at. Now the existence of reservations, it is to compensate the historical discrimination that was brought into certain sections of the population. Generally, we call them as scheduled castes. Now, the reservations are based on the idea that providing for financial and professional status, it will improve the vertical mobility of these people. So the caste in India correlates also with many other socio-economic indicators. For example, the low education, lower economic status, etc. So added to that, most of the Dalits in India, they do not have access to the productive assets such as land and also with regard to the capital. So generally the poverty levels will be high among the Dalits. So in these circumstances, the government for the past 6 decades chosen only the reservation as an important way for the upliftment or vertical mobility of these people. So in these circumstances, a reservation, though initially was thought for the 10 years, so it was later extended subsequently, and it has become a source for the vote bank politics. So we fondly call them as Mandal politics. And on the against to this, the complaints of merit getting compromised also exist. Now there are no proper caste census and socio-economic criteria completely available to correlate the size of the population and the quota of the reservations which are been granted to the people. It means the representative bureaucracy or the representative nature of this particular people who have taken up the benefits of the reservation is not practical or it is not clear in the case of India. Now in this context, if you see out, most of the people who are benefiting from the reservations, they are the elitist sections of the reserved groups who already enjoyed the benefits or one or the other way. So in these circumstances, the social mobilization of the Dalits across India, it is not providing for the expected results. The Supreme Court of India also has said that the self-proclaimed backwardness cannot be a constitutionally permissible yardstick for backwardness. And it's suggested that we have to recommend new yardsticks for the identification of backwardness and extension of reservations. Now this article, what it argues is the argument that financial and professional advancement do not end discrimination is a self-preserving and it is to benefit the people who already benefited from the reservation choices. So in these circumstances, there are 3 choices which are being offered by this article. 3 ways out it was offering. The first one is, any 2 generations who enjoyed the reservation, they shall be considered as vertically moved in the social state of the society, and they have to be de-reserved from these benefits, so that the reservations can be enjoyed by the other people who are not yet benefited from them. And the second is, among the other castes who do not enjoy the reservations, without bringing them into reserved category, based on various economic criteria, education levels of the parents, etc., by bringing in certain yardsticks, we can provide for the extra marks for the deprivations they had. So that, for example, an urban, well-educated, convent-educated boy, if he gets 90 marks, a rural child, if he gets 80 marks, they shall be made as equated. They shall be treated as equal. Now the third thing is, the education is an important level playing field in the long run. So what we can do is, improving the access to quality education in the long run, it decreases the total relevance of the reservations itself. So improving the scholarships and improving the credit facilities for the higher education. So these all provide for a level playing field with regard to the opportunities to the people. Now another important thing, though it is not exposed by the article, what it says is this: the Gujarat model of development, which is highly praised for, it has given impetus to the high skilled industry and it is more shifting towards the services sector. So in those circumstances, so in the low skilled jobs, the immigrants from Orissa, Assam, they are taking over the positions. In the high skilled jobs, most of the South Indians are occupying the positions over there. It means the natives are losing the job. And the small scale industry and agriculture, they are being mostly neglected in the Gujarat model. And the labor force, which has been newly entered, it has not been given the right opportunities. So these are the two challenges which the country that is going through the demographic dividend has to face. It is not only in the case of Gujarat, every state is following a similar kind of model. It means these demands are going to crop up in the coming years. And the next one is the Manipur issue. So already we discussed in the previous class the inner line permit issue. What is meant by inner line permit? Any outsider who want to cross this permit, they have to take the permission of the government over there. So why it has been kept is, let's take the demography of the Manipur. Now there is a valley region and hilly region. So hill has been dominated by the tribals, Nagas and Kukis. Valley is dominated by the Meiteis. So most of the establishment, the chief minister and most of the ministers, they belong to the Meitei tribals. Now the government has brought in the 3 bills recently. What are these 3 bills? The Protection of Manipur Peoples Bill, the Manipur Land Revenue and Land Reforms Bill, Manipur Shop and Establishments Bill. These are the 3 bills over here. So with regard to these 3 bills, what has been said is this. The Manipur people are being defined as who are the, residing in Manipur as on 1951 and registered in National Register of Citizens 1951, Census Report 1951, Village Directory 1951. It means if anyone is not registered in any of these 3 directories, he will be considered as a non-Manipuri. It means he will be excluded to have the land rights in Manipur and will be considered as outsider. And for every practical purposes, he has to take the permission to enter into the Manipur. So 1972 Manipur got a statehood, and before that, most of the Manipuris, at 1951 far-flung areas, most of the people in the far-flung areas, they are not registered with regard to the census. It means many of the people are going to lose under this definition of the Manipur people, which these Kukis and Nagas believe that it is a strategy of the Meiteis to exclude them from the benefits of the government. This has given rise to the violence in the Manipur. And the next is, I allowed a few important points over here. The first one is with regard to the media judgments. In India, the media trial is increasing day by day. So, aggressive intrusion into the personal space. Media is more playing a vigilant role or a moral police, or rather than just as a transmitter of the news. So the sensationalism has given a side to the regular news or regular ethical practices in the media. So the second thing is, Indrani case, what it shows is, so the changing RLSM, the prejudicing a particular community. So in these circumstances, the important point is individuals, not the entire class, commit the acts of the crime. So even you can use the same statement for whenever people use the word Islamic terrorism. It is not the community that commits the crime, it is the individuals that commits the crime. Now these are the things we need to understand. And the next is, with regard to the refugee crisis, most of the people from Africa, they want to cross the Mediterranean to enter into the Europe for a better life. Now, what is the major reason for this? The Arab Spring, which has replaced the dictatorial regimes in this Libya, etc., for a more favorable democratic regimes, has created instability over there, which has led to the mass exodus of the people. It means that the so-called democratic rise or democratic replacement in these countries has given rise to huge refugee migration and loss of the death on the high seas. So in this context, there are huge differences in the European Commission itself. So the mandatory quotas were suggested by Germany. Many of the countries were not interested in that. there is high inequality with regard to the number of refugees intake by every country in the case of Europe. So it is leading to huge humanitarian crisis and human rights violation. And the Europe has to combinedly resolve and respond to this. That is what is the essence of the article. Now, the Sirisena, you know that a national unity government is being planned in Sri Lanka. In these circumstances, President Sirisena, he was talking about creating a political culture of consensus in the place of confrontation and providing for the fruits of the development to the people of northern and eastern provinces and resolving the conflict. So the ethnic conflict in Sri Lanka through so-called as reconciliation is the major stress of the government now. So let's hope for a future better solution in the case of Sri Lanka. Thank you very much.